Hi everyone, Patrick and Julie here.
With another reaction video. This time it is Julie's turn to react some videos that I picked out for her. And I think she's going to like today's selection.
I can't wait.
Yeah, because the theme is advice and methodology and tips and tricks.
Okay.
And you're going to be reacting to the tips and tricks that other people are giving.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see what we've got today.
Helpful influence versus harmful influence.
Okay.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Social media is a great place to get inspiration when it comes to organizing, but it can also create confusion. Organizers are necessary. They give every item you own a home. Imagine you go to put up scissors and you open a drawer that's stuffed full of junk. Now imagine you open a drawer and everything is tidy and has a clear spot. Drawer number 2 makes you want to tidy. It's easy to be consistent. That's the kind of inspiration you should be taking away from these videos. What you don't need though is the tiny drawer vacuum, the little screen spray cleaner thing, the hundreds of pens and markers, the aesthetically pleasing headphones. That's the kind of inspiration that causes confusion. I recommend if you're going on social media to get organization inspiration, take a look at your own space first. Make notes on what you need. Maybe you have a lot of papers. Maybe you're looking at organization for an obscure area. Don't let yourself be influenced by what you don't need. Instead, take the influence where you do need it.
Oh, I love that little plaything where he just picked it up
Oh,
and dumped
my
it
goodness.
right in. Oh,
When I first saw that, that was...
wow.
Social media.
Yeah. I just want to say that one more time.
Yeah.
You don't need. Instead, take the influence where you do need it.
Genius.
That's great. Yeah. If you can keep him playing just on that mat. That's the challenge. But no, I thought that was great advice. I think you do need bins, you do need containers, you need something to kind of take up that space. Otherwise, stuff just gets kind of shoved in everywhere and you can't find anything, or you don't remember you had something, so you buy 10 of them, you know, which we've all done that.
How many pairs of scissors do you think she owns before she cleaned everything up?
Right. I think the important thing is to find things that are going to work for you. Just like a skincare product, not everything is going to work for the same person the same.
Yeah. So you thought she had sound advice?
Yeah, I thought that was sound advice. Mm-hmm.
All right, next up. Cleaning versus organization.
Ooh, okay. There is a difference. So let's see what she says.
So, what's the difference between being clean and being organized? It is all about the system. If you don't have a system, then when you clean up, it will get dirty again within minutes, within hours. Everything will be all over the place again. But if you are organized, if you have a system and it's organized, even when things get all over the place, you can easily put everything back together again. And that's the difference between being clean and being organized. You want to be organized.
3 tips.
So, what's the difference?
All right.
What do you think?
I don't know if I would say clean and organized. I would say like messy versus organized, because you can clean up stuff and it can be all shiny, and then you just have disorganized clean stuff.
No, that is true.
But she's absolutely right. I mean, her point, what she's trying to get across, is absolutely right. If you have places, homes for things, when they aren't in those homes anymore, it's a lot easier to get them back in those homes. So, yeah.
The two pair very well, but they're not exclusive.
Right. But in order to organize, you have to clean. So I see where she says that. But I would say, yeah, you can have clean, disorganized stuff.
I agree with that, because that laundry pile on the bed sometimes when you're in a hurry, it's clean, but it's not organized.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, next video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
3 tips.
3 closet organization tips.
Oh, okay. Look at those
For keeping
shoes.
your closet neat and organized, first you want to opt for a set of matching hangers, whether you prefer plastic or velvet. Having a set of matching hangers will ensure that everything looks uniform. Second, you want to color code your clothing, not only so that it's easy to find, but also so that it's visually appealing within each category. And third, you want to store your shoes heel to toe to create some extra space on the shelf. And if you're still in need of more room, there's always extra space storage.
You may find
3 tips
So
for keeping
3
your
tips
closet
for
neat.
keeping your closet organized.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're a big fan of having the same color hangers.
Yes.
Hmm.
Because it's aesthetically pleasing. So for me, I take a lot of joy in seeing things very symmetrical. I mean, that's why we like those MSR restocking videos and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's just pleasant to see. And when things are extremely different, something simple like a hanger, yeah, it's not as aesthetically pleasing. And I like the velvet hangers. You can store more stuff in a smaller space.
You are a big fan of the velvet hangers.
I am.
And
And also stuff doesn't slide off of
Yes.
them. On the plastic hangers, stuff slides off of them.
the plastic hangers are a bit more rounded. Does tend to take up a little bit more space than the velvet ones. And that space does add up as in your closet.
But, I'm not opposed to anything. People have different styles. People have different likes. Some people, I have a friend who hates velvet. She can't stand the touch of it, and for her, I would be like, well, they've got plastic coated or rubber coated hangers that are very similar to the velvet, that I would say if she wanted to do something like that, that's what I would recommend for her. And I should go get in her closet and see what she has. I don't even know. But, yeah, maybe I'll message
Surprise
her.
her with some rubber hangers. She just comes home one day and like everything's
Yeah,
changed over
it's
the
rubber
rubber
hangers. But she doesn't like velvet. So it's all with your personal taste. This person likes shoes. My shoes, I don't have to stack any certain way because there's plenty of space for all my shoes, but she has them stacked all on top of her closet, which looks nice when you walk in, and that seems to be her thing. So that's a really good tip for her. Again, it wouldn't be a good tip for me. So you kind of have to, when you're out there watching videos on YouTube or any platform, really, think, does this tip resonate with me? Is this something that I think would be useful? And some of it will and some of it won't, and that's fine.
And if you're really in a crunch, I guess you do need that extra bit of space for your shoe rack. If you do put them heel toe, kind of like that. I mean, they fit together a little better.
They do.
Yeah.
And there's other storage solutions too. They have these little things that they're plastic so that you can stack them on top of each other too. Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. Hopefully you guys are finding good ways to organize your stuff, finding great hints and tips and ideas that make your life easier.
Next video.
All right.
How to maximize your closet space.
Well, let's maximize it.
you may
Velvet
find
hangers.
yourself complaining that your closet is just too small. Instead of adding more hangers and packing stuff in, it's time to get things organized. Here are ways you can maximize space in your closet. A good principle: if you buy something new, get rid of something old. A classic trick is to start by hanging all your hangers backwards. As you wear items, put them back the correct way. That way, over time, you can see what you wear versus what you don't. After a few months, anything on a backwards hanger, it might be time to say goodbye. I also like to keep a donation bin. I can fill it up with items when I run across things I don't need anymore. To really maximize space, use a hanging organizer. You can fit a lot more, and it gives you more options for organization. Even in small closets, add inexpensive drawers to optimize storage. If you use a shoe rack, alternate them so they nest and take up less space. Instead of fumbling with boxes on top of boxes, make the switch to more convenient storage. Much better. For piles of clothes, I like to use bins, especially on taller shelves. That way I can get to what I need really easily. There it is.
Basically,
You may find yourself
What did you think?
I think a lot of those tips you've already given me. I do like how he likes to put his hangers, he'll reverse them. And then as he uses them, he puts them right. That way he knows what is he wearing, what is he not wearing. That's good, because if you haven't worn something in 3 months, still on that backwards hanger.
Mm-hmm.
Should you really be keeping it?
Yeah. I think that's a really great tip, but are you saying that that's why there's a bunch of stuff hung backwards in the closet right now? Are you trying that
I'm
tip?
maybe trying it out.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a few hangers that are not quite.
The other weekend we put them all facing the same way because there were some mixed and matched. And then I went back in there today and I'm like, why are there a bunch of hangers hung backwards? And part of that is just habit. You know, you get in the habit of doing something. Patrick's in the habit of hanging some of his stuff backwards. Not for this purpose to see when he wore it last, but just out of habit on one side of the closet, he hangs some of it backwards. And so when we fixed it, he just, you know, went back to his
When I started doing laundry again,
ways.
they instantly started putting things backwards. But this is kind of like the reverse of what he was saying. So in
Yeah.
3 months' time, if any of the hangers are still the right way, then I'll know, hey, I'm not wearing those
Okay.
enough to justify them having space in the closet.
Hey, that works.
The other tip he did bring up, of course, you know, marrying the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going nesting
Yeah.
the shoes, as he called it. I think that's a good term for it.
I do like, you know, like if you're going to have stuff stacked up, not to have it in boxes and stuff like that. I did like the fact that, you know, he had the shoe bins that opened from the front. Those are easier to get into.
Oh, that was wonderful. That was a good design choice.
I do not like this, these hangers.
With as much as you like verticality, though.
I don't. Yeah, get something wooden or something like that, and like an actual shelf. They've got the cube shelves and stuff. I think that would be a little bit more sturdier. Those get really dusty, in my opinion, and they just kind of sag, you know. And some people like them, and if you do, that's fine. I just do not like them. But these shoe things,
Yeah.
if you have
I like how they
shoes-
open up like a box, like from the front. They open from the front like that. That's wonderful.
So for me, you know, for my shoes, I have a shoe rack in the entryway for when people come in the house. But then I've got a shoe rack in the closet. We've got shoe racks in the closet, and that's where we keep like our extra shoes.
Dress shoes, shoes we only wear for special occasions. I do have a few pieces for the Renaissance Fair that also reside just in the back closet shoe rack because, you know, you only wore those like once or twice a year.
Yeah. And so those, just a shoe rack, another shoe rack,
But the majority of Mark's shoes that we wear daily are at the front door.
oh yeah, they are. A lot of great ideas. There's no bad idea. Again, it's just see what resonates with you and what you think's a good idea and what's going to work for your space.
And I like how he's a little bit of a nerd like me. I think he pulled out a Ghostbusters shirt. Did I see that right?
I did like how he had the cubes like stacked on top, where he could pile his clothes into them. That was kind of nice because those stacks will start to fall over. But if you have them in like a cube or something like that, then it keeps them contained so they're not falling over.
Yeah, plus if
onto
he
each
needs
other.
to, instead of just going through the pile and kind of pulling one out, and like you said, just kind of the whole pile like Jenga-ing on you.
Yeah.
You're actually pulling the whole thing out. Oh, there's the shirt I need. Got it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let's see what the next one has.
All right, here we go. Next up is 3 daily rules for a clean home.
Okay.
I'm basically a teenager trapped in an old lady's body. I don't like cleaning. I don't like doing chores. But these 3 rules have changed my life. A few years ago, I started parenting myself and telling myself I cannot have fun at night. I cannot watch a show or even go to bed unless I've done my 3 daily chores, which are dishes, 1 load of laundry, and tidy for 10 minutes. And if I parent myself, if I force myself to do just 3 things a day, my house stays in control and tidy all the time. I'm telling you, put on your big girl pants, parent yourself today. Do not let the inner teenager win and do these 3 things.
I'm a
You know, I like her. If you want, she's a professional organizer. She does a lot of videos and stuff like that. She's got a lot of good, her own methodologies or theories about cleaning and stuff like that. Definitely a good watch. I've watched a lot of her videos.
Okay. And did you
And,
recognize the YouTuber before as well? You seemed to get excited when you saw him.
I think I saw that video before.
Okay. It's really hard to find videos for you sometimes. I knew going into this, eventually we would come across something you'd already seen.
But I didn't really like, I remembered his face, but I didn't really remember the video, right? Because I'd watched so many videos, or I watched so many videos. I hadn't really done that.
It's either clean, organizing, or miniature horse videos. It's like all her feed.
And financial videos.
Oh, yeah, a lot of financial videos. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
All right.
And
What do you think about parenting yourself? I mean, you have a really good work ethic, I guess, for lack of a better term. You're very good about managing your time and doing what's needed. I don't feel like you need to parent yourself. You're just going, if something needs to be done, whether it's dishes, whether it's laundry, you're going to do it.
Well, I think a lot of it is, it's good to get into a good routine. And then for me, decluttering is huge, because if you have all this stuff that you're not using, that's not useful in your life, kind of paring that down to really what you need and what's useful, then you're not having to clean the stuff that you're not using, that's not useful for you. So let it find a new home. And that makes cleaning easier for me if I don't just have a bunch of extra stuff I don't need. Or like cables would be an example. You know, I bought these cable ties so that in my cable drawer I can just cable tie them all up and put them in the drawer, and that way they don't get all tangled together, right? So it's ease of use, and I got rid of a whole bunch of extra cables that I don't use. So getting that clutter to a point, now stuff fits in the drawer if I find it floating around the house. I've got the cable keepers on them, they're Velcro, and I just wind up the cable and into nice little neat I don't know, cable packets or whatever, and then toss them in the drawer. And if I need something, it's easy to find the one that I need. So doing stuff like that, it just makes, for me, it's quicker.
And you're one of those people that do it as you go. But would you suggest this advice for other people? Parent yourself.
I don't
Fight your
know,
inner
boys.
teenager.
I mean, sometimes the dishes in the sink pile up, right?
No,
But,
that never happens.
never happens. I mean, dishes just seem to pile up. Laundry piles up. You're never gonna get ahead of all of it. So having some of those routines in place is kind of nice. So yeah, and yeah,
All right.
especially when you're busy.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Yes. Next up,
Yeah,
the core 4 steps you need to declutter and organize your home.
great.
I'm a professional organizer specializing in chronic clutter. I'm going to show you how we use my Core 4 method to declutter and organize any space for long-lasting results. In this method, we always focus one room at a time. The first step is clear out. We collect any trash and items that do not belong in a bedroom, move them to the appropriate area in the home to be addressed later. Step 2 is categorize. This allows the client to see everything they own and prepare them for step 3, cut out, so they can easily declutter and make decisions. Look at all of those donations. And step 4 is contain. This is where we assess all of the items and the available storage, create a functional layout, and give everything a home. And here is our final result. If you struggle with clutter and want to apply this method to your home, check out my declutter kits, their step-by-step guides on my page.
Just because
That was wonderful. I mean, that was,
I'm a professional
wow.
organizer specialized.
The before and after on that was just
Yeah.
incredible. So I really want to just give her props for being just an expert declutter, organizer, cleaner. I hope the person she did this for is very thankful.
Yeah.
And this client individual, huge Pink Floyd fan. So right on.
Yeah. There's a lot of different, ways that you can go about decluttering and organizing your space or your home. We've done several. And each time we've kind of done them different.
Yeah.
We've used different methodologies. So this is one of those, like, the core 4 step. There's a lot of different methodologies about how you can clean a space. Each person is different with what they can handle, as well as each space, how you
Yeah.
deal with them.
There are schools of thought. I mean, some people just want to tear it all down and build it back up, like she's doing. Other people, just spend half an hour clearing out different areas at a time
Yeah.
and work your way around the room. But do it in stages rather than all at once, so it's not overwhelming.
Or do a shelf at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then put it all back in. Yeah, so find the way that's going to work for you. It shouldn't be overwhelming. There's lots of different ways you can do stuff. Watch videos, see if you find a way that's going to work for you. But this is this is a good one. This is a way a lot of people do it. It can be a little overwhelming because you
Yes.
junk up your space. And so just be conscientious of that. You may want to work in smaller spaces at a time. Versus pulling everything out, because that's a big commitment. You pull it out, it's either you deal with the mess for quite a while as you're kind of working through it.
But
Yeah.
she did do just one bedroom. It'd be interesting to see if she showed what the hallway looked like after this.
Right.
Yeah.
Where did the bins with the other stuff go? I did like the fact she used bins to kind of contain stuff. I tend to do a similar, pull stuff out and get it into get it into the right home area, and all of that. But
Yeah.
yeah. But it shouldn't be overwhelming. This can be a good way to do it. Just find the one that's good for you.
All right.
Yeah.
Next video.
Yeah.
The hardest and best decluttering.
Advice.
Just because I can store it doesn't mean I should. That's probably the hardest decluttering advice to follow, and clearly I didn't, because most of this I don't use anymore. Oh, except the pink toaster. She can stay. And if I'm decluttering on a weekend, I'm getting in my comfies, am I right? Oh, love that blue. Okay, so true story. Getting rid of things that already fit in a space and that you could potentially use again is the hardest stuff category to purge, because what if is a hard place to talk yourself out of. But let me drop some truth. All of this can be repurchased if by some freak chance we needed it again. I know, there's a lot of assumptions in that last statement, and it sounds wasteful. But hear me out. Unless you're planning on it, the freak chances rarely happen. And if it's driving you crazy, even just a little, every time you open a cabinet and you probably won't ever use it again, I have to ask, is that item worth your mental health? Or the cost of a bigger home just to store it? And if that didn't get to you, let's try this. Did you know that a woman's stress level is directly correlated to the amount of stuff she has? And when I learned that, it was a lot easier to let go. Just because
So what do you think?
Yeah, I think that people tend to keep a lot of stuff that just no longer works for them anymore or is no longer needed. I always think it's amazing. Patrick and I are currently working on another closet right now, and we were told oh, there's nothing to get rid of in this closet, and we're already up to a big box of garbage and a big of other things, clothes mainly, that we're actually going to get rid of that space. And it's not a huge closet. I can see how you can think that there's not going to be a lot to get rid of in a space, but it's amazing when you start going through it how much stuff can fit in drawers
so
and
true.
cabinets and everything like that, and just getting it out and donating it somewhere, letting it have a new life, hopefully goes to someone who needs it, or toss it out if it's not good anymore.
And one of the things she brings up is, of course, a person's mental health is tied to clutter. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
If you live in a messy space, you're going to be a more grumpy person. But also getting rid of things if you don't use them. I think as long as there's room for them and they're stored neatly, I think we're okay. I have a hard time throwing things out, even if I have a cheesecake pan. It's designed to make cheesecakes. I've used it once. I've had it for
Sounds
years.
like you need to make some cheesecake. That's what I heard from the discussion, is he needs to make some cheesecake.
I'll make some cheesecake.
Yeah.
So I can justify keeping that.
There's some things that we've talked about, if they have sentimental value, if it's, you just really like it. There's some cake pop pans that hardly ever get used that I don't want to get rid of
I'm getting
either.
some cake pops soon.
Yeah, so we're gonna have cheesecake and some cake pops. You don't have to get rid of everything, but if it's something like, wow, I just never used this, I never liked it.
And I think if you're reaching that point where stuff is starting to find homes on the counter instead of being in the cupboard or closet or somewhere, yeah, time to start going through and letting some stuff go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good.
All right, I think. Oh no, one more video here.
A huge, like mega huge, organizing mistakes that you are probably making. The first big organizing no-no, don't try to organize your entire space all at once. You do want to organize one small project at a time. Hopefully things that are going to take like 30 minutes or less. The second big giant no-no, don't do it when it comes to organization. Don't sort your stuff into lots of little piles. When we're taking things out, we do sort into keep and go. Do not buy containers before you know what you're going to use them for. We buy the containers to fit the space. The next huge organizing mistake, don't try to aim for Pinterest worthy right away. We only organize for function. The final huge organizing mistake, don't try to organize clutter. Do declutter first. When you try
Yeah.
a huge,
And you said this was a YouTuber you watch regularly?
Well, you picked 2 videos of hers. Yeah, I've seen quite a few of her videos. Like I said, she brings a different methodology to the table. She's got some really great ideas. There's a lot of different ways that you can do stuff. But yeah, go through and declutter for sure. A lot of her methodologies I have no problem with, and if they work for you, definitely use them. Again, it's about finding something that is useful for you, that you're going to find value from. And she breaks it down, I think, into a way that can be a little bit less overwhelming for people to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah. And you do tend to subscribe to let's put things into 2 piles, what we're going to keep and what we don't keep, before you start organizing again.
I break them down probably a little bit more than that. And it kind of depends on the space. So it's like, okay, donate or trash. And there's some other categories too that we've made along the way. In one space, we're like, okay, we're going to sell. There was a sell pile. There was a donate pile. There was a trash pile. There was a give to a friend pile, right?
Yes.
And so we do kind of subcategorize those sometimes, but sometimes you can do that in the space, sometimes you can't. Sometimes there's just so much that it's either like you're going to donate, you're not going to try to mess with selling, or you're going to trash it. So it really depends, again, on the space and what people have and what kind of level that they're at.
So these are some good tips. They just try them. If they work for you, great. If they don't, there are other ways to do things.
Yeah, just keep on trying, right? And find something that's going to work for you.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right, last video.
Great.
Organization problems.
When you try to be organized like the people on TV, but the container isn't big enough for all the cashews you just got. So you need a second container. And it takes up more space than the original packaging. When you try to be...
So what do you think?
Okay, she's hilarious. I'm going to have to go out and see if she has any more videos, because that is just, it's so true. Sometimes the pretty containers, there are some things that I put into different containers. I think everybody does, but it's pretty limited on what I put into different containers, like pasta in a bag, right? So, but I have big enough containers that when I open the bag, I can use part of the pasta and the rest of the pasta can go in there. But it's so this is true with, like, I find a lot of times with like spices, the little jars are like this big, but you know what you buy is all different mix of sizes. So spices just, are one of those. I can see with these cashews, that's hilarious. Yeah, sometimes aesthetically pleasing isn't better than the original packaging, in my opinion.
Well, she's got this wonderful plastic container that does fit everything, but then she's got this even better
prettier
glass jar labeled cashews with a wooden lid. It looks so nice. I guess she'll just be eating cashews for a while until it
Yeah.
all fits. And the face she's making is classic. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that was great. Just really think about what you buy, and it is a process. Like, you don't have to get all the organizational stuff all at once. Really see what's going to work in that space, and then put your stuff into that space, and you'll be amazed and surprised. So, yeah, great pick of videos.
Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah. I think
Well,
you need to do like a
oftentimes-
different one with it's just like all these
Is that a request?
yeah.
Find me funny videos.
Find me funny videos like this cashew one where it's all just like yeah.
Fantastic.
Stating real world facts. I mean, yeah.
Challenge
best of
accepted.
intentions.
Best of intentions. That's a
Best
wonderful
of
way to put it.
intentions. Yeah, but then reality just is so different. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that'd be great.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, so that's what I thought, or we thought. So let us know what you think.
Comments below. We do love responding to comments and engaging with y'all.
Absolutely. Yeah. And subscribe and like. And what's the
Yeah.
other one?
I think is there some notification?
There's a notification
Hit that
one.
notification bell.
So that you can see when more of our videos come out. Hopefully you enjoyed spending time with us today, and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Me.
It's all about you. Oh, I should have just said you. Closet, and it's up to. You okay?
Oh, good. Just a tickle in my throat. I'm good. Go ahead.